Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphur Blade, and I am back here with another political video. Yeah, this will be my second one in this 3-month time period. Sorry guys, but it is that time. It is kind of that. We're at that stage of history, I suppose, where maybe it's fine to be a little more politically activated than you normally would be. However, is it politics, or is it just the culture war? Or is it both? Or, yeah, it's both. The culture war, politics, they're all the same thing at this point. You got those guys on the left and those guys on the right. You got the Democrats and you got the Republicans. And at this point, the Democrats are fucking nuts, man. The left is just so preoccupied with identity politics, cancel culture, wokeness, social justice warfaring, feminism. It's... Where does the craziness stop? So, for the past 2 to 3 months, most of us have been stuck inside, sheltering in place, because the plague was threatening to kill us, right? COVID-19 was going to destroy the world. And if, we had to social distance, and we needed to not work. We needed to shut down our capitalist society and not work. Just turn it all off. Because reasons, right? Because if we go outside, we're gonna catch the plague and we're gonna die. And we can't reopen, because if we reopen, things are gonna spike and we're gonna die. Does this sound familiar? Didn't CNN spout this over and over again? Didn't MSNBC spout this crap over and over again? Didn't mainstream media as a whole say we have to follow the advice of the experts? We can't go outside. COVID-19 will spike, and it's going to be worse than ever, and millions are going to die, and life as we know it is going to end. Blah, 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 blah. Well, a bigger left-wing issue came along. Mr. Floyd lost his life, and we needed to spin that out of control into a race war. And by we, I mean the left. No, I'm not really part of the left. I don't want to box myself up with that group. And now they're running around, the same people who begged everyone not to go outside or we would all die from COVID-19. The same people are running around burning down houses, buildings, in the name of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. I mean, I can't wrap my head around this level of stupidity that exists in the world today. I really can't. How have so many people become this hive mind mentality where they can't think for themselves? And the group The group thought process is just so stupid at this point that you would think some of them would wake up and realize that they've been trapped in this Borg collective doing some of the stupidest things anyone's ever seen humanity do over the course of our entire existence. What does burning down black businesses in Minneapolis do to help George Floyd? It doesn't do anything for Mr. Floyd. All it does is dishonor his memory. What is beating up business owners who were trying to defend their businesses to within an inch of their life? Slamming them over the head with skateboards. Kicking them until they're limp on the ground. I just don't understand this left-wing mob mentality as to how they think. I don't understand how they think. I don't understand how this hive mentality works. How do they get their orders? I mean, is there pheromones? What do they have a queen bee? I mean, what is the scientific background of this? How does this work? I mean, it's like the dancing plague. Have you ever heard about the dancing plague? That was a literal thing that happened in Europe where people literally killed themselves because they couldn't stop dancing for days on end. And they died of complete and total exhaustion. I've always thought of that concept as just being bizarre, right? What makes you dance and not stop dancing until you kill yourself? And people claim that was a real thing, and I'm just thinking to myself, there's no way. People can't be that stupid, and well, we're seeing our own version of the dancing plague right now. The COVID-19 plague was threatening to destroy us, or so the left said, and begged us not to go outside, so the left said. And now they're all outside burning down the country, and they're not dying from the plague. It's craziness. Please, wake up to the left-wing rhetoric, people. I mean, there's nothing served. Look at this. Look at this particular post here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actor Patton Oswalt compares Antifa looters and rioters to D-Day troops. What? You kidding me right now? I mean, I can't even believe to understand how this person could possibly think something so ludicrous. But then there's a lot of crazy shit in this world right now. But I digress. But yeah, just think about how COVID-19 shut down the world for nearly 3 months. And how quickly the world forgot about it. Nobody's concerned about it anymore. Everyone's outside being stupid. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. Probably approximately half the country. You know, the 50% of the country that's filled with the hive mentality. I wish they would just get their aha moments already and wake up and realize Orange Man is not bad. But, you know, what do you do? That's basically what I wanted to go over, is just how absurdly crazy it is that COVID-19 has just been completely forgotten about. And the fact that people aren't dying in droves either. So we were being lied to for months on end. I mean, I'm sure COVID-19 was a thing, right? But I don't think it was anywhere near the thing that it was made out to be. In fact, I would suggest that 100,000 Americans that have died of COVID-19 is probably more like 50 or 60,000, and the other 50 to 40,000 are people who died of the quote-unquote comorbidities. They didn't necessarily die from COVID-19, or they had a bad case of the flu, and it was chalked up as COVID-19. So, for some reason, hospitals got more money for COVID patients. Like there was some special, I don't know, for every dozen COVID patients, we'll give you extra $100 million or something. I don't know, but of course, government did something like that to gum up the works, and of course, hospitals probably misreported their numbers, and that's not being a conspiracy theorist. There's actual truth to that claim that is starting to find its way to the surface. However, things like that don't get to the surface anymore, not through mainstream media, because mainstream media is mainstream media. There's a reason mainstream media is not called the news anymore, because they don't really provide the news, do they? They're not out there trying to break the latest story. It used to be that reporters were out for the biggest story, regardless of its political implications. Now it's like, oh, we can't break that story. We can't talk about that because it paints our side of the political spectrum in a bad light. You know, it's like CNN, MSNBC, and gang. They wouldn't talk about Tara Reid. They wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But Fox, they were all over it because it served their political side of the compass. You know, I'm not going to claim that Fox News is some magical news organization that's unbiased. It's not. It's got a right-wing bias. That's obvious. CNN, MSNBC, and most other news sources, from ABC Australia to ABC US of A to NBC, CBS, even the BBC, even AP, the quote-unquote AP that people have become so reliant on to give them unfettered news, is biased to the left. And then we have like Sky News Australia, which is again biased to the right. You have the Epic Times, which is an actual newspaper that I get spammed with on the internet because the YouTube has decided that I'm a right winger, so they're going to spam me with the Epoch Times advertisements trying to get me to sign up for a newspaper, which, you know, I never read news. Well, I can't say never. I've read a newspaper once or twice over the course of my life. Usually when you're like at McDonald's and there happens to be a newspaper there, and you're dining in because it's lunchtime or something, and you just, nothing better to do, might as well read the paper. Or you're in a doctor's office and the paper's there and you're waiting to be seen. Those are the typical times that I will look at a magazine or a newspaper, right? But I certainly don't have it delivered to my door. I certainly don't, sit down at the breakfast table and read the newspaper. I mean, I understand that there's people that do that, but that's just never been a thing for me. If it was, I might think about getting the Epoch Times. It sounds like a pretty good news source, but newspapers have kind of gone out of style. That's not to say that I don't think that there's a place for them. I think everything comes back into style, right? I think an old-fashioned newspaper still has a market, but it's not a market for me. And I don't know why I'm talking about this. It's because I get spammed with these ads. Anyway, I know this magazine exists, but however, I think it has its own right-wing spin to it. And so even the few newspapers that exist have their political agendas as well. So it's very hard to find any type of credible news that is, well, the news, right? It used to be man shot, news at 11. 33-year-old Guy Jones was shot at his apartment at 11:13 a.m. by Jim Anatolia. And that's what we know about at this time. Thank you. Have a great day. That was the news, right? There was no political spin to it. Now the news is like the longtime Democratic correspondent and organizer of Black Lives Matter, Jim Jones, was shot by right-wing extremists at 11:37 p.m. during a Donald Trump rally. That's how the news has gone from what it was to what it is now. And if you don't realize that's happening, wake up. Because it most certainly is happening. You can't find any type of credible news anymore that doesn't have a heavy political spin thrown on top of it. And I think more than anything, that is the single most pressing issue of our generation, of our time. I think if there was anything that Congress and or the Senate should do, it's to find a way to regulate newspapers and media establishments that consider themselves news, that provide the news, to somehow force news to only report news without a political bias. If they could make some sort of laws to that extent, but of course that's never going to happen because the right and the left can't agree on what number pencil to use in their survey on whether or not they should do something in the next year. I mean, they can't even agree to if they should sit down or stand up, or if they should turn left or turn right. They're the most basic things have become completely polarized, and I don't know where we go. I don't know where we go from here. I think the country just needs its aha moment, something just so bizarre to make the hive-minded individuals wake up and realize that they've been stuck in this Borg hive mind mentality and that they need to just snap out of it. But You know, if what's going on right now can't make them realize how stupid they're being, I don't know what will. I'm losing. I shouldn't say I'm losing hope. I've lost hope. I don't have a whole lot of hope for this country, but you know, I'm old. As long as the country doesn't completely burn down while I'm still alive, fine. But I have a feeling that not long after I get buried with the worms, this country is just going to be... I don't think it's going to be a country anymore. I think it's just going to implode upon itself. In fact, I think the world's going to implode upon itself. I don't know how the world survives, because it's not like the left versus right issue is something that's mutually exclusive to the United States. It's festering, and it's reared its ugly head in every Western country, from Australia to England to Canada to France, Germany. All Western countries have been affected with this scourge of crazy leftism. And it's scary, but I don't know what you do. Anyway, it's probably enough of my muses on this. I just wanted to point out the hypocrisy of the COVID-19 crap, because this seems an apt point to point it out, right? You know, we have millions of people running around the world protesting, from Paris to Berlin to London. Black Lives Matter, and we completely forgot about COVID-19, and the world's not rapidly dying from the COVID-19 plague. So was it all a lie? I don't know. I'll let you use your own mind to figure that out for yourself, because hopefully you can think for yourself, and if so, well, I'm James Johnson. Hopefully you enjoy my content. If so, please leave a like and subscribe, and until the next time, all peace.